Hi, I'm Juan Camilo Ramirez. I'm gonna explain the topic of respiration in mammals. First of all, we have to know what is a mammal. The mammals are a very heterogeneous group of animals. The only characteristic shared about mammals, besides presenting mammary glands, is have lung-like breathing. All mammals have a lung breathing to aquatic animals such as whales. The mammals breathe through skin or lungs. This means they don't need to be in the water to breathe. On contrary, if they live in water, they need to take oxygen from outside. Besides it, many mammals have adapted to live in the water. Some don't need to surface to breathe. Among that, we have whales and dolphins. These type of animals don't have to go to the surface to breathe. Well, I'm gonna explain some structures or components that the respiration in mammals use. The muscle structures. Mammalian respiratory system rely on a single large muscle at the base of the lungs. This muscle is called diaphragm. The diaphragm pulls the lungs downward to increase their volume, causing air to rush into lungs. As it presses upward, the lungs become smaller, and air is exhaled. Muscles in the rib cage work in concert with the diaphragm to expand and contract the lungs. This is the structure that it's on work to make the lungs bigger or smaller to increase their volume. If the volume is bigger, the pressure is smaller, and the diaphragm make the pressure bigger to become the lungs smaller. Always, different mammals breathe different. Some breathe through the nose, others breathe through the mouth. Some mammals are be able to breathe through either the nose or the mouth. As the air passes through the nose or down the trachea or down air, a small hairs and microscopic hair-like structure filter the air by attracting dust and microbes that could cause damage or infection in lungs. This refers of the always have a hair-like structures that attract dust or microbes to make the air safe to go to the lungs. If this don't happen, could be illnesses to the body. Lung structure. As the air passes through the airways, it enters the lungs. The mammals have two lungs. The air is split between the lungs by an airway called bronchi. It moves to a smaller airways called bronchioles. The bronchioles take air to the alveoli, which are small sacs where the gas transfer occurs. The gas transfer is between carbon dioxide and oxygen, that are the gas that our body produces and the gas that we use to make energy. I'm gonna explain some other parts that aren't structures that the mammals use to breathe. Windpipe. The trachea in mammals is the tubular conduct that goes from larynx to the bronchi. Attached to the spontaneous, it is somewhat flexible non-compressive tube, which is surrounded by cartilaginous trachea rings with a smooth musculature on its final part, divided into bulge. This is the way of the air that take place from the larynx or beside the mouth to the bronchi that it in the lungs. The bronchial. The bronchial are bifurcation of the trachea, which in turn are divided into smaller tubes when they measure less than a millimeter on diameter. They are called bronchioles. The bronchi in mammals penetrate into pulmonary sac and consist of small musculature and respiratory mucosa. The contraction of the tube will be involuntary and will be adapted to the needs of the animal. The bronchial is the part of the airway that takes the air from the bronchi to the alveoli. Some smooth musculature and the respiratory mucosa take place on this. The mucosa is used to prevent illnesses or some infections to the body. The lungs in mammals are made of elastic tissue, comprising the entire bronchial tree and the gas exchange zones. The middle area that embraces the lungs is called mediastinum. The right lung is formed by four lobes: cranial, medial, caudal, and accessory contact with the mediastinum, and the left lung by two, caudal and cranial. The lungs are different size because the left lung made an space between it to the heart. The heart is situated in the middle of the two lungs. Well, I'm gonna explain now the process of respiration in the respiratory system and how it occurs. The respiratory system is responsible for facilitating the change of gas between the external environment and blood, so that the cells can perform cellular respiration, a process in which food releases all available energy, where oxygen is consumed and carbon dioxide is released. In this process, the food, the glucose, it's consumed with oxygen to produce CO2 and ATPs. Mammals, in their evolutionary process, implement their well-developed lungs, which allows them to be very efficient in breathing and therefore in meeting their energy needs due to their high metabolic rate. They develop a secondary palate in their oral cavity, which completely separates the respiratory apparatus from digestive. Also, mammal cells change gases through their lungs, thanks to the process of breathing, with, which consists of nasal passage through which air enters the larynx, a resonant box supported by a skeleton of 9 pieces of cartilage. The hyoid bond subsequently. The air continues in the trachea, a conduct that supports by 20 cartilaginous rings. Those are the principal parts of the airway that we told the last diapositives. Then the air continues to the bronchi, a bifurcation of the trachea, which are also supported by cartilaginous rings. Finally, the air reaches thinner, smooth water structure called bronchioles. then penetrates into small alveoli chambers that have thinner network of capillaries that distribute oxygen to the blood, and then the CO, the carbon dioxide, is expelled out of the system as performed exhalation. The change of gases from the blood to the respiratory system occurs in the alveoli because it is connected with the circulatory system. Breathing is bidirectional. It's when inhaling the air enters and exhaling air exits the body, from which the diaphragm and the rib cage intervene in expanding and sharing as the case may be. This is the way of the stability of pressures. When the diaphragm and the rib cage turn smaller, can the lung make bigger, and this increases the volume of the lung. But when the diaphragm and the rib cage pull the lung to make it smaller, the pressure is bigger and the volume can try to be smaller. The physiology of breathing involves various processes. First, ventilation, or passage of the outside in air into lungs by inhalation movement. This passes from nose to larynx to trachea and then to the lungs. Second, gas exchange between pulmonary alveoli and blood through diffusion. Third, transport of gases through the bloodstream. Through the oxygen is transported at oxygen hemoglobin by red blood cells. Fourth, gases exchange occur between blood and tissues, performed by difference in tension between blood and tissues. Finally, the cellular respiration is the end of whole process, where ATP is obtained by oxidation of the glucose molecules. The oxidation of glucose is the process that we use to cellular respiration, that is the principal um, form that we use to obtain energy. Now, some images of some animals and their respiratory systems. Now, goodbye and thanks for watching.